Hello, soccer community from the 559, and welcome to the second official episode of the Double Yellow podcast. Thank you to all of you that watched and supported on the first episode. And yeah, we're right back for more. We got a very special guest today. Again, I'm Enzo Duffy. I'm one of the hosts of the show, and right next to me,
I'm Gabriel. Thank you so much for being back. Really appreciate you guys liked the first episode and you're back to watch the second one. As we explained on social media and in the first episode, we're gonna have many different types of guests. So we had in the first episode two local soccer players, and today we have someone different. We have a local club director from the 559, and with that being said, this is a guy that came from LA. He is bringing a lot of changes to the community, and I'm really liking to see that. He's bringing new sports, new organization to the club, and let's introduce him and call him to the table. Come to the table, Brian. Let's go. Welcome. Good to have you here.
welcome to the Double Yellow podcast.
How you feeling today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
We're good.
It's great to have you here. So,
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
so I guess to start off, we'd love to hear a little bit of how this routine in this position has been for you. So tell us who you are and what do you do here for Fuego?
Well, I'm Brian from LA. Just moved here in March, so I'm super new to the area, and to an extent, I've actually been visiting for the last 7 years. But I had the opportunity to learn a lot about the community and so on. And so I'm with Fuego, a local soccer club, has a lot of history here in the area, and I came in as club president. And I'm just here to implement new ideas, bring new ideas like to the style of plays, to how community can play, and bring in new formats that maybe you see in Brazil or Uruguay, Argentina. I want to bring this here and make this a culture for the game. It's not just going out and playing.
Yeah, totally. Do you mind bringing the microphone just closer to you? There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be good. So
If the headphone is too bad like that, then
We're good. We're good.
yeah, you're free to
Alright.
move it around as we go. So.
all right. So how did that all of that start? Like, how did you end up in Fresno?
I get that question a lot, actually, because I was living by the beach. So why did I leave?
Yeah,
Where was that exactly?
Long Beach.
Okay.
Long Beach.
Yeah.
Oof, beautiful out there.
Yeah, I've been there from like 2015, 2016 until almost now. And so my girlfriend's from LA, or I'm sorry, from Fresno, lived in LA. She is from Fresno City, then transferred to Cal State Dominguez Hills.
Okay.
Finished off school and soccer there, and then she just got involved into my beach soccer community, and it just went from there. And so she was working and just everyday life down there, and then next thing you know, she got a very unique job offer here, and she just took it. And I was like, all right, we'll figure it out. So she moved in October, and then I moved here late February, early March. And that's what really brought me here. And honestly, the only thing that I was going to be able to work in was soccer. It's all I care about. I don't really want to do anything else. And I have all the skill sets, and I've done so many things over the years. And so I had a conversation with Fuego, and they liked a lot of my ideas. And obviously, I have the background, the credibility. So perfect timing, I guess. And here we are.
What is that background? What
Well-
were you doing in LA before you came here?
Well, I've worked a lot in sales and marketing, so also sponsorships too. So I spent a lot of time in the tech space, maybe like the sports management type platforms, Sports Engine, Sports Connect,
Yeah.
all these companies. I was doing a lot for those types of companies, and at the same time, I was operating a beach soccer organization. It started off with just me training, led to me training other people, to this whole pickup community, to leagues and tournaments, to players traveling the world playing for the national team. And within all that, I just built a variety of skills that I didn't know were useful for a career. It took me a while to understand that I knew how to market, I knew how to do social media, I knew how to coach, I knew how to do all these things, and all these just unique things. They liked it, so it just worked out.
That's great. That's
Nice,
great.
nice.
Yeah.
So before you came to Fresno, what exactly were you doing there? Like, what was the last thing you did in LA work wise?
The last thing I was doing at the time was being a sports agent. Actually,
Oh yeah.
I was helping players find contracts to play in other countries.
Uh-huh.
I have a pretty big network, so
Nice.
I was like, well, let's just use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have it, and I actually, it's funny. It's like on LinkedIn. I started connecting with all these big people and not really knowing why I'm doing it, but I'm just like connect, and I just knew at some point I'm going to need these people, so I'm going to make noise on my LinkedIn, and here we are, and help players find opportunities, and I'm still getting contacted regularly now about it, but it's not easy. Being an athlete, it's hard to get seen, but it's also hard to do the business side like that too. And
Totally.
it's not the most fun thing, but it feels good to know that I can help a player as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's all interesting stuff. I'm just trying to, sit down and like listen, focused to what you're saying. Because like myself, I'm a communications major, myself in school right now. And as I grow more and more into doing these kind of media, podcasts and video broadcasting, that's the kind of stuff that I'm getting into. Uh, and Gabi as well, he works a lot on the marketing side and whatnot. And actually, while before the interview earlier today, I was doing a little bit of research on you and all, and on your Instagram, you have like 5 Instagrams accounts that you manage in there for all these type of things that you were like putting out there right now as you speak. So I guess my question is how do you manage the position that you have now with all this other stuff that you're doing as well,
Without
and
leaving the rest behind.
exactly, and what is this where does this passion for advertising specifically to the niche of soccer come from?
Well, yeah, it's a great question because what you've seen is what you've seen. There's like 10 other accounts I'm managing too. And I'm a hardworking person. I just want to make noise and not in a negative way. I just want people to see, foot volley, beach soccer. I want Alchinia. I want people to see everything, the world's so big and there's so much we don't know. And this is why I love to travel because I always learn something different. And then the things we complain about here in the US is not worth it once you start traveling to certain places and you realize, oh, it's not that bad where we're at, So with all these channels, I just want people to see what's there. And, I get a lot of responses about, man, I wish I could be out there, or, man, it looks cool. It's like, hey, just come.
Yeah.
But don't live in the fear of that you can't
Let's
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah, it's like, why? Just do it and play and mess up and just enjoy it. I mean, there's a period of time where, say Alchinia, people didn't know how to play it in Brazil and they just had to learn how to play it. It's the same case here, but we don't get exposed to all these cool things until
someone comes and brings it.
Exactly. Or you're much older now and it's too late. A lot of people here know of foot volley as soccer volleyball. It's
I've never heard that.
my whole life, I've heard about it, and I'm from the southern part of the U.S. So I mean, that's how it was advertised for me, soccer volleyball. And we didn't know there was more to it, and I got exposed to that because of the Brazilian community in L.A. and I just loved it, and I saw the value in it for beach soccer, and I saw the value in it for soccer too. Yeah. So I sucked going out the first few times. The Brazilians just didn't want me to play because I just wasn't good. And I mean, I had the idea, but it's just playing. And over time, I just figured it out and started, to be able to do all the things you see. And
I guess they hear, like, once they see it for the first time, they're like, okay, but how do you win? And you're like, you don't win, you just keep playing.
Yeah, right. And it's honestly, like, you see, everyone's seen foot volley videos on Instagram. We all know it. We all know the Alchinia videos, but nobody thinks beyond just what they see on Instagram. Yeah. So that's why I also go out there and just put on days where people can just come play and
learn. And learn as
exactly.
well.
I mean, I'm an educator in this case. I like to coach as well, so I don't mind teaching people. Why be closed off if there's nothing there?
Totally. Yeah, wow. A lot of cool, interesting stuff. I wanted to ask a little bit about beach soccer because obviously that's a whole different ball game right there, and it is a different. I would even say, even though it's related, it is a different niche than actual soccer. You know, you have like many differences to it as well. So if you could explain a little bit what it like consists of, and what are some things that you guys trying to teach different for people trying to learn beach soccer.
Yeah, you catch me like laughing a little bit every time I hear something about the unique sports because it's just funny because I know I'm crazy because I'm just doing things that are just so out of the box
Yeah,
and it's like why why not.
yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and for me, beach soccer is a very intriguing sport. Here culturally in the U.S., it was never treated as anything serious. It's like just go play in a recreational tournament and go to the bar after.
Mm,
And for me, I don't care for that. Like I'm competitive. I want to practice and I want to go beat people on the
yeah.
field. And so like within my community itself, that's what I was trying to build.
Mm,
So when I got involved, I could not find much information on how to train for beach soccer. There weren't videos like you see for the grass. So I would just watch a bunch of games and think, okay, this is what they're doing. All right, let me see. I'm thinking of what I could go to the sand and do. So I started creating all these fitness ideas and ball ideas. And the one thing that I knew from day one was if I wanted to do anything with the ball, I need to get in shape, but I need to be in sand shape. I was
Mhm.
already in soccer shape, but
oh,
not for the
yeah.
sand.
It's
Uh-huh.
way harder to run.
Yeah, it's a whole different world. And, if you're brand new, I already know what it feels like. So that's why I laugh a little bit because I was like, hope they can hang because they don't, some people just think like, oh, I can go out there and do it. I'm like, no, it's going to take you some time. Just understand it's a process. So I focus a lot, like 6 months on my cardio and just made sure like I felt good on the sand. So then I started bringing in the ball and started doing all the aerial type things that you would see. And then now I started bringing in people to come train with me so I can start getting the connecting points with players and things like that. And I just how everything just in my end developed. I kind
Mhm.
of just built my whole system and my own way of training, and now I'm using that here in Fresno. I'm training guys 6 a.m. in the morning, and telling them, look, it's gonna suck. It's like beach soccer is fun. I'm giving you some days where it's fun, but and then just like last week, for example, I had a session that was mostly cardio.
Yeah, gotta get fit. You
Yeah,
gotta.
and I understood we have guys that come out that are in season,
Mhm.
so I'm managing that.
Yeah.
But this day we didn't have any guys in season, so I was like, "Oh, guys, just so you know, it's gonna suck today."
Yeah.
Just letting them know, and it sucked in a positive way. They at the end they're like, "Man, that was a great session," even
Mhm.
though they were dying in the middle of it. But
Yeah.
that's just pretty much, I just created it all, at least for myself.
Cool. Yeah. And I guess just a quick follow up question to that: do you think people nowadays, as you're saying, more people are getting into the trainings and all that? Do you think soccer players that are getting into that? Do you think they look at it as an addition to their fitness level that they'll bring to the field, or you think in the near future we'll see guys actually being like, "Hey, I want to compete in a league for this."
And adding to that, how does it help their touch on the
True.
field?
That's big.
Yeah,
Hmm.
well, it's a mix of I'd say everything. I feel like since day one I got involved, it's about educating people what it is. It's there's no just like there's nothing. What's your reference here in Fresno? You don't have anything.
Yeah.
So it depends on the person I'm speaking to. If you're a college player right now, I don't try to push them to be a beach soccer player.
Hmm.
I'm pushing it more for the training side and explain, look, man, you're in off season. Like, take advantage of this now because
Yeah.
trust me, like, there's nobody else doing this. If you want to have an edge, do this for the next 2 months, 2, 3 times a week. And trust me, you're going to see something different. And I know that from experience because I've done it with like professional 11 athletes. I had a player fly down from Seattle. She was playing for Oil Rain. She was a goalkeeper, and she did double days with me on the sand.
Mhm.
Not just a gym session in sand. We did double days on the sand. Just
Yeah.
killed her. And long story short, she's now the starting goalkeeper of Manchester United, and now breaking into the U.S. national team.
Wow.
And you could see like that's a great reference of
Yeah.
a player that was just open minded to
To
training.
using that as
Yeah.
an advantage.
Exactly. And then touch wise, touch is everything. It don't matter the surface you play on. If you don't have a good first touch, you're in trouble.
Mhm.
I want to go pro, but my touch sucks. Well, you're screwed. So the sand, it teaches you a lot about patience, where you can make that good touch.
Yeah.
It's not always so much about running at the ball. It's you need to understand where you're at, and part of playing soccer is reading the game.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
need to know your reality, know your
Yeah.
surface, know everything to be a great player.
Yeah. But I asked that because the first time that I got to the US, and I was playing in a team that had 25 Brazilians, but we still had some Americans. And the first thing that I noticed was like, okay, we start playing Altinha, they come and they can do one pass, So they know how to play soccer in the floor, but in the air it just doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, like I couldn't even imagine that this was possible, that you can play soccer but you can't play the ball in the air, And when you see beach soccer, the ball is most of the time in the air because the ball doesn't roll the same way in the floor, so it's easier to keep it in the air. And how do you see the people here that are starting on the sport? What do you think about how they're reacting to that?
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't want to engage so much with the players at practices. I try to give the respect line of where I should be, and the coaches and the players. But there's been times where I just go out there and I'll bring my beach ball and I'll just start doing chest pass and shoulder passes and bring them in for Alchinia just for fun, just showcase it. And then it's funny because you'll see them start doing it a little bit here and there just for fun. And I say you got the bug once you get on the sand, because sometimes I still do it. I walk around and I'm just doing my random chest for some reason, and I start seeing some of the guys doing that too. And I was like, yep, he's got the bug. Yeah. And but all I was doing is just introducing it to them, and then you see them get curious. I think the curiosity is there. It's just got to put it out there more, because I do agree. It's funny to me, like being in the sand for so many years now, and I still question, how's it possible you don't know how to do this stuff?
Yeah.
But then I realize it's just not our culture.
Yeah.
But there's also nothing wrong with that. And, the FIFA Club World Cup is bringing that new culture, I think, because the Brazilian clubs, everyone's like, how? I was like, they've never been bad. You just stuck on 5 teams in the world. These teams are big clubs.
Yeah.
And they have the branding, the marketing, and everything. There's a reason why Europe is
The
buying these
facilities,
guys.
the money, everything.
It's there, and it's a shock to people. And I'm like, it's not a shock to me. Like, about time. And we saw it last night, we saw it today, and you could see, like in the game today with Flamengo, they were playing the air game in a lot of their goals. And you could see, like, the sand, those guys been on the sand quite a few times. So it's showing on the big stage. We just got to keep, implementing it.
Yeah. And talking about the World Cup, it's just, for me, this is an amazing tournament. It's something that it's been a long time that I'm not that attracted to a tournament. This one I want to watch every single game. Today I was watching Benfica and Auckland City, and I was like, bro, this game sucks, but I was still there watching.
Exactly. It's probably because, we know the soccer clubs and that's out there, but some of these clubs that we've been knowing are actually the bigger names at the moment. And I'm excited for all the South American teams, because they're all massive brands. They all have great players. All these European clubs are buying from them.
Yep.
And it's just an exciting time, in my opinion. Like, for me, I was already a Botafogo fan anyway. Apart from that, I had a partnership with them anyway for beach soccer. So I just knew something big was coming for them this summer. And there was a promo video that they made with their players in the locker room, and I felt that. And you see it on the field. The passion's just different.
No, and they were playing different too. Like they are not considered to be, because many people are talking about the champion of the Libertadores beat the champions of the Champions League, but that was a little bit ago that quite a bit ago that Botafogo won it. PSG more recently.
Yeah.
So in reality, you were having the 8th placed in Brazil, which is Botafogo now, which obviously it's a great team, but they're struggling
in the league
a little bit more than last year. They're 8th place, and you have the newest champions of the Champions
like a
League,
few weeks
and
ago.
a few weeks ago.
Superstars, right?
So
Yeah.
And you can see in the ego on even
Mhm.
with Chelsea today. You can see it in like they know they're like
their body language and everything.
yeah, and I'm just thinking, guys, respect these players because you're making their stock go up now,
Totally, totally.
right? And it's interesting. I'm excited. You know, I'm happy. I'm not a Flamengo fan at all,
Me neither.
but
Vasco.
but
No, I
I'm
was happy. I yelled for those goals,
Me
and I hope
too.
my friends are listening to this podcast because I know there will be friends in Rio. You know who you are. I yelled for that goal or for all
did
three
too.
of them.
You did too. We know it.
For all three of them. So we're all really happy about that. Before before we keep going, let's just go ahead and cut to our first
Yeah.
section for our yellow card questions. So we explained a little bit on the first
Here we go.
episode,
Let's put
but
in the main
this-
camera.
yeah.
First one to you.
there's
oh man, I don't dive, man.
there's your first yellow card. So we'll have the first one right now. This is sort of the halfway of the show. We're gonna come back and talk a little bit about some other things that we want to talk about, and then we'll wrap it up with the second yellow card at the end.
Oh
But-
man, you sending me out like that.
So, yeah, that's basically the idea. You know, you get the double yellow, and then you get the red, and then we wrap up
From the
you know.
referee shirt, right?
The red right here.
There's gonna be. I think we're gonna have a ref here waiting for this moment.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. So, we've been having a nice, more informal chat, you know, about beach soccer and all these projects. Super cool and everything that's happening with you and Fuego. So I wanted to get a little more technical for the yellow card questions, and I wanted to ask you about leadership. Obviously, like you're expressing right now, and we've seen all of these projects that you've been a part of, not only now but throughout your whole career. You know, and you learn stuff. You try and error, and there's a lot of guys out there that are trying to bring these leadership aspects, not only to lead their soccer team on the field, but also to lead you know, life and life after soccer as well. So I guess share 3 things related to leadership that you've learned throughout these years that you could give out there.
Leaders stand up and just do it. They don't wait. They just go and try. And if you fail, you get back up, do it again, do it again, do it again. Leaders have to fail to become a true leader. A leader must have passion. If you're not willing to be passionate about whatever it is you want to lead, then you're a follower. You could be a passionate follower, but you're not. But you need to be extra passionate if you want to be a leader.
Yeah.
And then lastly, you gotta want to grind, because leadership isn't something that you just wake up or you can go to a tattoo place and just get it on your arm. I'm a leader. No, it's something you build.
Yeah.
It's like building your home. You know, you want to build your dream home. Well, you can also build your leadership skills. You know, and you just got to want to work and not be scared and just do it. I mean, it's such a basic saying, just do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really just that. Don't live
Pretty
in
real.
fear.
Pretty real.
It is, you know, and it's just don't have fear. Just go out there, and leaders just go out there and work hard, be quiet, and just do whatever it is that they want to do, and it'll happen.
And adding to that, something that I've learned since I got to the US, and it is really true. You just have to go and do it. I'll tell this in another episode, but that's why I'm here today, just because I decided to go and do it. But what I was gonna say is that you just have to be yourself. You know, if you want it, just go and do it. There's no problem with that. You're gonna fail, and things come and go, money come and go, and if you lose it now, it's gonna come back at some point. So don't be scared. You know, that's
Just work hard.
yeah, that's if I could choose something to say that I learned since I came to the West, this is it. Things come and go, and if you are not there to be there when it comes, you're never gonna get it. You know.
Exactly. You can't give up. Life's not waiting on you.
Yep.
Totally.
You know, it's up to you. We only really live in such a short period of time, and we don't even know when our time is, right? So just go out there, and whatever it is that you have interest in, don't look back. You know, for me personally, as a great example, I was always pushed to finish school. And I was always wondering why. You know, like I don't know what I want to study because there's not one thing I want to specialize in. I want to be just versatile. And the one thing I did know that I loved was soccer.
Mm.
And at that time, I was I'm like, I'm going pro.
Yeah.
But we all think that, right?
Yeah.
We all think we could be pro soccer players. But then at some point, you realize, okay, I'm not going pro, but I'm good at this, so I'll go do this.
Totally.
And you know, I've been pushed so many times. Go get your degree. Go get your degree. I'm like, no, man. Like you're gonna not judge me because I didn't finish school. Judge me based off what I've done and what I can do.
Yeah.
A degree is, you know, a degree is a degree. Of course, I'm not gonna tell anyone not to go get one either.
Mm.
This is just me. I just saw that I could do whatever I wanted to do, so I just didn't look back. And
Yeah.
and here we are.
Yep.
Cool. That's nice. All right. Well, to follow up with that, yeah, we'll just keep chatting about some stuff.
I have
was-
a good question for you.
Okay,
You want
okay.
to go first?
No. You you go. You
So,
fire.
when you came to Fresno, I didn't know who you were, and I knew that Fuego wasn't going to be pro anymore. And everyone was like, okay, what's going to happen to Fuego now? Because we knew that Fuego FC in the past ended for some reason, and then Central Valley Fuego came, played for, I think, 2 years or something like that, and then they ended again. And everyone heard that they were not going to be on the USL League One anymore. And then I saw that you came. And then I remember looking through your social media, and I saw a lot of beach soccer, a lot of Botafogo stuff. And I was like, I think this guy's Brazilian, you know? And when I met you, I remember I asked you, and you said no, but I wanted to ask, where does this passion for Brazil, if you have any, where does it come from?
And for soccer too, because I've been meaning to
Yeah.
ask that. I was actually gonna backtrack now and be like, okay, you were born in America. I mean, what?
I'll give you a twist. I was born in Vegas, but raised my whole life in Alabama.
Oh, okay.
There's a twist, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so a non-soccer area, how, right?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. Just let's backtrack and come back to that.
Where's
What's
California?
your roots? Yeah. Where are you coming from? And yeah, a little bit about that. Your passion for soccer. Where does that come from?
Yeah, well, I say I'm a casino baby because I was only born in Vegas and that was it. So that's that.
Uh-huh.
So casino baby here. But I lived my whole life in southern Alabama, maybe like an hour or so from the beach in Florida,
Okay.
right on the border. And
Pretty out there.
yeah, it's deep. Don't recommend. going.
Okay.
There is a USL 2 team there, which really surprised me that there's one there.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, why?
Which one?
Yeah.
Dothan United.
Oh,
Yeah, it's I'm like, why?
Uh-huh.
But cool to see, you know. But
Florida has some pretty good teams in the USL too.
yeah, no, for real. They get thousands of fans. It's wild,
Mhm.
you know. So who knows what the future could be for some of these teams?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was involved actually. You know, before soccer, I was involved with Taekwondo for many years, and I got my black belt in that. And I was super passionate about Taekwondo and competing. But within that time, I also had interest in soccer, so I got involved at just, you know, any level a kid would get involved with. We don't have anything special. And
What age was that?
maybe like 12, 13 or so.
Okay.
Yeah, I played club, and then I got into a better club around 15, 16. We were called Alabama Alliance. And I was a field player, outside mid. And then one day we just didn't have a goalkeeper at practice, and I was like, I'll do it.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Seems to be a recurring story for most goalkeepers, and I just got stuck there for years. And long story short, we were just nobody team. I think it was our U18 team. Our last season, we're a nobody team to anybody. And next thing you know, we're beating top 20 ranked teams in the nation. And you know how many club teams there are, and I have to remind people because they don't react. And I'm
Yeah.
like, do you not realize we have 1 million club teams in this country?
Yeah.
And to be ranked top 20, there's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so we were beating all these teams this summer. And next thing you know, we were ranked 43rd in the nation. And I was like, this is insane.
Mhm.
Long story short on that, everyone got scholarships to college or played professionally abroad, and that was that. So living in Alabama, I always wanted to be different. I didn't want to be a redneck. I just didn't want to live that life. It wasn't me. I didn't know what it was that was me, but I knew I had interest in other cultures.
Yeah.
So I would do all this crazy research on just anything not US.
Mhm.
And just I know random things and I can't think of it on top of my head, but I'll just get on Google Maps, zoom in on a city and just see, oh, this is sick,
Yeah.
take note of it. Maybe I'll go see it one day.
Mhm.
Or a fun fact, I'll keep it. And but yeah, Brazil has always been on my radar. But what really set me off being interested in the Brazilian just things is the sand. Honestly,
Oh.
I'm so hooked on that, and I got so hooked I had to get a bunch of sungas because it just felt right. It felt right. I was very fortunate to play with some top level Brazilian guys with Lazio, and it was a big accomplishment that I got on that team. And these guys that were on that team were World Cup champions, and that's just the Brazilians, not to mention the other top level guys that we had too. And
What Lazio? You mean the Italian team?
the Lazio, believe it or not, Maradona's son was a former athlete of that
Yeah.
Lazio Beach
Yeah.
team. Crazy, right?
Cool.
It's how close that connection is to the soccer world.
Mhm.
And so that Brazilian vibe started just hitting me a little bit. And I get questioned all the time. Hey man, you Brazilian? You Brazilian?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but I can be. I mean, I got the sunga. I
Some
work out.
Havaianas.
Yeah, I'm doing the touch. Like it makes sense.
And how does that feel when someone asks you that?
Now, honestly, at this point, it's no surprise. But I don't even get just asked that. I get asked, "Are you Polish? Are you Russian? Are
Oh.
you German?" And I get asked all these things, and at this point, I don't know what I am anymore. So, but it's honestly not a surprise. And like my girlfriend just shakes her head every time when someone asks, because she just knows like it just happens so much, and it's just funny to think or to hear what other people think I am.
Yeah.
I play with it too because it's funny. I'm curious to know too. Like, what do I look like?
Like
to you?
it's the image that people have of you.
Yeah.
It's interesting. to
But
me.
what's that image? I look the same everywhere. So,
Mhm.
but it's funny though. It's interesting, and I get that here in Fresno a lot too. My clothes a little bit. I guess I feel like the shorts I'm wearing right now is very German, which they are. So makes sense. But I like to just give like just whatever I want to be. Just that's me.
Yep.
Yeah. Give that off. Cool.
You like to follow what people tell you to be around you.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just be you. You
Yeah.
know, I believe in mixing cultures. I think like I said, the world's too big. We need to know we need to know things. We all need to be connected
Yeah.
somehow, some way. So soccer, thankfully, has been that for me.
Mhm.
So I just can't complain for the things I've done in soccer. It's opened up my mind, and beach soccer in particular sent me to countries I never thought I would even go to. So
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that as well.
So you said when you were a kid you were playing for these clubs and you guys got ranked nationally. When did you stop and moved from grass soccer to beach soccer? When was the point you're like, okay, I'm not playing that sport anymore. I'm only gonna play this.
So I want to give you another twist. So I did take 1 year. I had a scholarship actually. Here's the dumb thing about me. I had a bunch of scholarships. I said no to all of them because I wanted to go find it myself. Idiot move. But I was like, forget this. I'm just gonna go find one. So I found one, went to that school for a year, and then I ended up just leaving the school. Didn't like the school, and I transferred to a university that didn't have a men's program. They had a women's one. And while I was there, I realized we had a massive ESL program, which means foreigners. So I did my research and found out we had the biggest ESL program in the South. I was like, holy crap! In Alabama, for real? No way. And next thing you know, I started a club team at my university. And the school started supporting it, sending emails out to the entire campus. And I did a tryout, and we had probably like 200, 300 students show up, all foreigners. And funny thing about that is we built a team, and then we went and played the university that I left, and we beat them. Interesting. But leading towards the sand, I actually then stopped school again. Not again, but left school again. And this time, I just didn't look back. I moved to Germany. Just because, I didn't have a game plan. I was like, I'm just gonna get out of here. Forget this. And I
Where'd
lived
you
in
go?
Huh?
What city did you go?
Kiel. So no one knows it. It's northern Germany. It's almost on the border of Denmark. Super cold. And I just stayed out there, played soccer, and that's when I really realized how fast the game is in Europe. And this was 4th division. And I was like, oh, we suck in the U.S. Like, I really realized how slow the game is for us here. And I was struggling, actually. I just was never prepared for that. And to speed things up on that, I decided, you know what? It's time to figure things out now, finally. I need to figure things out. What am I going to do? Like I can't just pick up stuff and just move like that. Well, that's what I did again. I picked up my stuff and moved from Germany, but this time I went to LA. And that's where I just started life. I believe it or not, this time I worked fast food. I was just hustling, trying to just get things going. I was working in a fast food restaurant, and one of the people I worked with, she played soccer, and I just heard her talking to people. She played beach soccer. I was like, I can do that. And being a Latina or Latino, the Latino community, you're gonna look at it, a white American from Alabama, you can't play, dude. And it took months to get invited
Go
out.
play some baseball.
For real, and I can't do that. So, but finally, I get invited out to the sand. It was a very recreational thing, and I'm watching these players, and I'm like, I'm so much better than them. And then someone needed a sub, and I got in, and 10 seconds in, I was just dying. And I was like, crap, all right, I'm not as good as I thought. So it was from that day on that I realized, if I want to play this game, I got to get in better shape.
Yeah.
And that's where I just got addicted. I became just a freak for the sand. And here and there, I was playing in the Sunday leagues, but I realized I didn't know what a Sunday league was till I moved to California. And I realized I just don't like Sunday league. The fields are bad and just not structured, and it's just not fun. It's just,
you're saying the fields are bad in LA?
well, they're just as bad as here. Believe it or not, they're just as bad, if not worse. They're bad, bumps and holes and dirt, and I wasn't for that. I took myself serious in soccer, and at that point I was like, I'm too good for that.
Yeah.
So I just quit all that and just went to the sand, and just went forward with all of that.
Yeah. Cool. No, well, that leaves us at a good point, I think, to move forward. But yeah, what an interesting story, and I think even inspirational for many people that are trying to figure it out, and maybe they don't know if they want to go to college or if they want to just move to another country and pursue their dreams, or they don't know maybe even what their interests are, and I think that's a great example of like just hustling and figuring it out, but knowing that you have that passion underneath all of that.
Yeah, it's funny you're saying that too, because I've had conversations here with just people that come out, for example, to foot volley. Oh man, that's so cool you did that. So cool. Oh man, I wish. I'm like, why can't you? Just go get your passport, figure out where you want to go, and just go. Why not? I actually, believe it or not, too, I quit a lot of jobs just so I could travel. Just because that's what I wanted to do. I knew at this time I wasn't working important jobs, so I didn't care. I was like, I'll find another one. As I'm getting deeper in the soccer world and getting, real opportunities, is not the same,
So
obviously.
you were getting these sort of jobs to like drive your main dream.
Yeah,
basically.
and that time my main dream was learning everything about the sport of beach soccer. I just traveled the world: Singapore, Trinidad, Tobago, Costa Rica, and many more. And that's all I cared about. I didn't have a game plan either, but I just knew that's what I cared about. I knew I can make money somewhere. Someone's gonna need me. I knew how to cook, so I was like, everyone needs someone that could cook.
I got everything.
Right?
There's
So,
restaurants everywhere.
yeah, and then and obviously when you get older, you're not gonna be as reckless, I guess. But I'm still a little reckless sometimes. But it was worth it because I know so many things, and I think just people need to sometimes be reckless. If you have that idea, I want to go see this place, don't stop thinking about it. If you have money saved up and you got your passport, just do it. Forget
you
about
get
it.
out of your comfort zone,
Yeah, learn. Just
you're
learn.
not gonna get anywhere.
It's a skill, honestly. You come back with new skills. You gotta look at it that way. Treat it as like an educational thing. If you're a chef or you want to be a chef, go to other countries and see what a chef looks like.
Over there.
Yeah, learn the different food and things like that, and come over here.
Get
and
deep into it. Yeah,
exactly.
And bring these new ideas to this. Okay, yeah.
This
sense.
story gives me a lot of inspiration for what we're doing here right now.
Totally.
I haven't seen anything like this here, and I know I'm not the best for this, but I'm here. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So
No, this is for me. I like this type of stuff. Anything soccer,
Mm-hmm.
I'm for it. I
yeah,
don't care what it is. Like if you're just trying to build something for soccer itself, why not?
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I think we need, especially in Fresno. Everyone says there's a lot of soccer here. There's a lot of soccer. Yes, you're right, but there's a lot of missing pieces for it as well.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
platforms like this is what you need.
Yeah.
You need people that have that cultural side of the game, not just playing it. People that are wanting to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's how you build the game. You build the awareness. You get people maybe that aren't the best soccer players, but could have a skill that could still contribute to the
To the
sport.
community or something.
Yeah, maybe you're a great coach. Maybe you're good at with communications. Maybe you're good at building events. Like
Yeah.
all of it comes together. You just need to figure out really what you're good at. Because for me, at first, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew what my skills were, and I kind of just used my skills to build things and
Mhm.
just figure out what you're good at and figure out how you can add it to the soccer community.
Yeah, totally. No, I feel 100% identified with that. I personally, like, I'm from Uruguay. So, and I lived in Brazil since I was 4. So, from like 4 to 18 till I came to Fresno my freshman year. Um, like, that was all I knew, Brazilian culture and Uruguayan culture. And obviously, it's like soccer, soccer, soccer. I wasn't that good at soccer myself growing up. Uh, I was good at swim though, so that's how I'm here through a swim scholarship at Fresno Pacific. But then like I knew I want to be involved with soccer too, because that's what I actually like really love. You know what I mean? So that's where the idea of this comes from, and obviously the idea for my videos at Fresno Pacific as well. Um, it's just the idea of telling those stories because those stories are there to be told, and the idea of also bringing or putting your uh, we call it putting your grain of rice, into
Yeah.
the to collaborate and to bring something different and something like fresh, new, um, and help. Like I always like the main reason I do this and also like videos and all is to also serve other people. You know what I mean? So no, I think that's super cool, and yeah, I'm loving the talk so far. So that's good. Mhm.
it's been amazing. So you wanna move to the second?
Well, before we move to the second yellow, I really wanna hear about the Botafogo collab.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I think we can wrap up with that and then move on to the second yellow because obviously Botafogo trending right now after the big win yesterday against PSG. You got the opportunity to collaborate with them on some beach stuff as well.
Yeah.
So how was that like? How did they get in contact? Did you get in contact with them? How's that story come about?
Yeah, well, Botafogo. I can't stop saying the name because I'm so pumped for them. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie, and everyone now wants to be a fan. I've been talking for a while about them, and no one wanted to catch in on it, and now here we are.
I mean, even in Brazil, because in Brazil, Botafogo is not. I mean, they have tradition, but right now, in the last, I don't know, 10 years, Botafogo is
There's
not a big team. In the
yeah,
last 10
and you can
years,
see in the social media numbers, Flamengo blows them out.
Yeah.
No, totally.
Fluminense blowing them out. Palmeiras just blowing them out.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, they're about to ride high, and so in Brazil, so I'll tell you a little bit of what I know about Brazil. In Brazil, there's a lot of beach soccer clubs. Flamengo is actually on paper, not even on paper, realistically too. I've played against them 2-3 times already, and they're freaking good.
Vasco too, no?
Vasco is freaking they're awesome. A lot of the Lazio guys played for Vasco too. Yeah, but a lot of these big name clubs have beach soccer programs, and Botafogo is one of them. And they were around for a while, and they were coming to the U.S. to compete in the tournaments here. And my friend at that time and still is now is the head coach of the program, of the men's side at least. And they disappeared for a little while, and then they brought themselves back. I think before the new ownership came in for the actual club. the main part of the club. And I've always paid attention to his work. He's a good coach and the videos, and I knew some of the players there anyway. And then so I always had this ambition that if we want beach soccer to grow in the US, you need to tie it to a bigger club. And I tried here in the US it for years. I tried. I was living in LA, so I tried with Galaxy, I tried with LAFC.
They don't want it.
You don't even get a response. They
yeah.
don't care. So I tried on a different level. I looked at the clubs that we had, and of course I'm thinking about money too, because I'm thinking, how can I get paid to do this as well and make this a full-time thing so I could really do more.
Yeah.
And they didn't want it, so I was like, this is ridiculous. And it's like, how? And so I decided to reach out to my friend at Botafogo, and he directed me to the person to talk to, and I presented the idea to him, and then he went to the club, and then I got a meeting with the big guy of the club. I used this as a marketing standpoint. That's how I approached it versus I want a team.
Yeah.
So then I ended up having a meeting with the big marketing guy of the club, like the overall club of Botafogo.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by his English, but these days I need to stop being impressed by people's English. Everybody's learning it for these purposes, right? And he loved the idea. So it just happened. And then we debuted the club last year in Virginia. And before the tournament, I was like, we're going to make a lot of noise with this. We're going to sell jerseys, pre-sell jerseys. And at the tournament, we hand them out to people that bought them. And this tournament we're at is the biggest beach soccer tournament in the world. And it happens in Virginia. It's so random. But it's super cool. Like, it's
Virginia Beach?
Yeah.
For clubs?
Yeah. There's some quality players that come and a lot of club teams. It's like 10 miles of beach of just fields and it's crazy, and top names go there. So we're passing out the jerseys to all the people that bought, and then next thing you know, we have a fan base at our games. I was like, this is insane. Like, I thought it was so cool.
It's incredible.
And then like people that don't even know who Botafogo is wanted a jersey. I was like, do you guys even know who this is? And they don't, but I guess they just like the branding of it, and which I think they're a great brand. So
Yeah.
that collaboration just came along, and I started building it. And then I was ready to take off even more with it, but then the whole thing with my girlfriend moving to Fresno, and then I was thinking, well, I can move Botafogo here, but you know what? There is a local club here that has a name, and there might be something better I can do with that. You know, with Botafogo winning yesterday, if I did stick with the club, this could have been crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping the page active a little bit here and there. I don't want to kill it, you know, because
totally.
it's so cool what I had. So, but with Fuego, they like the idea of it. They're like,
You can name your beach soccer Botafuego.
Botafuego. but here's
Because it is Fuego and Fuego.
yeah. You know, I thought of it. I was like, well, did I really leave the whole fire theme?
No, definitely not.
I'm still with it. Fuego. I was like, you know, it still works. We could still use the fire emoji for everything. So, and I love that because it's simple and it's already on everyone's phone. So. So it worked out. It didn't bother me too much, and the club liked the idea of it, and it was unique for me because I've always told myself the first club that just takes up on this idea is gonna blow up with it, and I've been told a million times from people, and this one and with no beach was like, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah.
And apart from everything else I'm doing with the club, so. Here we are, you know. Both the Botafogo is always going to be with me, and I do want to go to a game next week.
Let's go.
But you know, I get to do something bigger. I feel like it makes more sense.
Yeah, bigger purpose. Wow, yeah, super cool talk. I think that's a good way to.
I have one more question before we move into that. So
Just gonna keep piling them.
So we have been talking about you this whole time. I want to move a little bit more to Fuego now. I want to know. How was the situation when you got here? What did they want from you? And what are your goals for the future for Fuego? Because Fuego
that was literally the last
part.
I was gonna ask you. It was a little bit more like tricky formulated, but I was gonna say
Let's give the card,
if you could give us like a 5-year dream plan, something like that.
So I'll do a mix of both. How about
Okay,
that?
okay, that sounds good.
That's for the card then.
And then pull out the card.
Then we give you the second
Man,
card.
now you're giving me the
You
boot. huh?
answer, that's it, and you leave.
Okay. So, coming into Fuego, I mean, I paid attention to the USL and, you know, watching and obviously paid attention more to Fuego because of the ties. I say ties, but, you know, the family of my girlfriend that lived here. So I was watching, you know, Fresno, just paying attention, you know, and obviously things were, you know, how it happened. And not very many people care to really know or try to dig in, and it's crazy what happened. And you know, and if you heard how everything worked at that level of professional soccer, you would understand why things happen that way. But you know, that's beyond me, as I wasn't here for it. But I've heard bits and pieces, and it's no surprise at the same time. But everyone's just talking crap about, oh, they're not pro, they're not pro. I was like, well, you don't know anything. You just see the announcement. That's it, you know. But you know, when I came here, I thought, you know, this is a cool opportunity for me because I don't really care about that part right now. Like I I'm a builder, so I saw all the opportunities to build, and a lot of new ideas came when I got here too. I had really, you know, not that much experience with the soccer community here, so I'm learning how things are here, and then I'm trying to figure out how I can make it better. So when I got here, we only had, you know, the U23s, and then the biggest thing I want to do, actually, beach soccer wasn't my priority of promoting here. I just didn't even think about it. It wasn't the thing at the moment, and I was like, women's soccer, let's get a women's team.
Yep.
And I was told, you want a women's team? We need a coach, and you're gonna have to find a female figure respected here. And I was thinking, crap, like this Fresno's not that big. Is there even anybody? Found that person, got her, brought her on board. Media got.
She was at FPU before, no?
I believe so, some years ago, yeah, and then she's at Buchanan now, and she's credible. And the reason why I know she's credible is the responses from the players. You see when the players come out the trainings, like they like her, and I was like, and that's how you know you have a good person out there. And so that just got so much like love from the media. It's crazy, and I do think there's some big opportunities for that in the long run, you know, and then that will get to the long term plan soon. And then, you know, apart from that, the guys' side, there's just so many guys coming out. They want to practice, they want to be involved. And so I was thinking, well, let's get a younger team. So we just finished up tryouts for our younger team. And what we're doing is our supposed older guys, they're 23 years old, but, you know, they're older in this case, who has the skills to be a coach or interest. And we happen to have some of those guys. So they wanted to coach. And so we're pushing them to get their coaching licenses right now, actually. And they're going to be the ones leading the practices. And I'm excited for that because you have players from here, grew up through the soccer system, grew up through Fuego, and seeing, you know, they understand everything. So I was like, these are the right people that we should bring in to coach the next younger guys. And then we'll keep going younger and younger at some point, right? And I think it was a smart move. And then as I got all that, you know, built out, I was like, we got to add in beach soccer. Forget about it. You know, we got to do it. Like, there's no way I'm going to do all this and not add the sand. So that happened. We did tryouts and everything. And we're doing trainings now early in the mornings. And it's cool and unique. You know, and this is all happening since I've been here in March.
Yeah.
So it's happening so fast. But then the crazy thing, and this is for me, I laugh every time. And the debut is actually tomorrow afternoon at FPU. So we had a meeting with the Fresno Pro-Am basketball organization. And honestly, when I was at that meeting, I was like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm involved with soccer. I like basketball a lot, actually. Botafogo does have a basketball team, by the way. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, this is not, but, you know, I'm just sitting there listening. And they kept talking and talking. And I was like, Fuego basketball. Or Fuego basketball. I'm sorry, not Fuego, because Fuego's a hot topic, right? But Fuego basketball. And they'll sit and be like, and then keep talking. And I'm just sitting there and just, yeah, why am I here? Why am I here? And then I'll be like, Fuego basketball. And they'll stop and it just kept going on like that for a while. By the end of all of that, they were in, or like, let's make a Fuego basketball team. And then And then, of course, I didn't give them any information why we should do it. And then I was like, forget this, my time to shine. This is why we need to do it. I was like, go look in Europe. Benfica, Olympiacos, Real
Basketball.
Madrid. They have
Barcelona,
basketball
Madrid.
teams with soccer audiences. They're crazy and it's cool. And then I was just like,
With soccer audiences, yeah, with the fans and the
they're
music.
wild,
Mhm.
man. It's so different than
Have you
here.
seen Boca Juniors?
Yeah, they're
That's
wild.
crazy.
South America is getting big
Yeah.
on it too.
It is. And I was like, why should we not do it? It's not very American, I guess you could say it's not very American to mix sports under one brand.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, why not though? Like, give me a good reason why we shouldn't do it. So here we are, and tomorrow the team will make their debut.
And I feel that the brand and their teams, once one team is doing good, it brings the other one with it,
That was the business side
Yeah.
of things too that I said. I was like, if Fuego makes a basketball team, other sporting organizations are
They're
going to
gonna want
it.
to make
Yep.
it.
And then the guy that's operating the whole organization for basketball, he was like, you know what? Never thought of that before. I was like, I just didn't think it was much of an idea, but sometimes we just don't think of those simple things. So
They just needed someone that wants to look at other cultures.
yeah. And so the competition's going to be happening at FPU actually in the basketball gym there.
Mhm.
So tomorrow the team will debut. So long term wise, I want to keep these programs going. I think it's so new now. It's just we need to stop adding on things, and it's time to just roll it out, make it all happen, and make it a consistent thing. And long term, I honestly I would love to see us in pro soccer if it makes sense. Maybe in 5 years it doesn't make sense for anyone to be professional, but I don't know. Who knows? Soccer is just changing so quickly in this country, and who knows what is going to be after the World Cup. So,
Yeah.
but I would like to see more fields, more club teams. I would like to see local rivalries. I want to see a fan base.
Mhm.
Like there's not enough real fan bases, and I think, and I have to refer back again to the Brazilian teams. The fan bases are insane, and they all live here in the U.S. We don't have that type of fan base. Just people that love their club. I want to build something like that. Like people just love their team. They don't care if it's a futsal team or a basketball team. They just love that team, and I think I can get that built over time. And it takes platforms like this to build that type of stuff.
Yep.
Because we all gotta. The reality is we all gotta work together.
Yeah.
And we all have different things that we want to do. But how can we do this together? I see a lot of opportunity like I experienced in LA. The culture is crazy there, man. Like there's so much, and it's a lot, but the community is so small. And I want to do that here. Street soccer starting to build up here. You have kids playing, even adults. We have the sand now. You're seeing, like what was it, the football flea? That was cool to me. That gave me this idea of what happens in LA. We need to start seeing more of these things coming together and rolling out and build that true soccer fan base versus just being, oh, I'm going to support pro soccer. How about who's your team? PSG? No, they're not.
Yep.
You just
I
they're
hate,
not your fan.
I hate
You're
that
not the
so
fan of
much.
it.
You go anywhere here, you play, they're like, oh yeah, my team's Barcelona.
Man City. Oh, since when? When
Yeah.
they sucked? No, you weren't a fan of them.
Yeah.
And then they ask me, oh, you're a Barca fan or a Madrid fan? I'm like, I just like them. They're not my team.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. We don't have a real culture.
There's not the identity. I feel like I was thinking of that word.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, we don't know. But we act like soccer's so new to us too. It's been around for a very long time, and we're just not pushed like a fan experience. Like we don't have that. We're not pushed to eat, sleep, breathe your soccer team. For the football and baseball teams and college football, for sure. We need that type of energy for soccer.
Mhm.
We have it in this country. We show it, but we haven't shown it for soccer.
Now that you said that, I think that that's a clear example that it can be done here because when Fresno State plays football, and there's I don't know how many people, 40,000 people in the stadium. Where's that people at? When I went to the game, I was like, how is this happening here? I've never seen so many people together in Fresno.
Totally.
So we can do that for soccer too.
Well, that's a whole nother topic, man, on
Yeah.
why people are not passionate
Yeah.
about soccer here. And it's a rich kid sport, sadly, when it's a
Yeah.
poor man's sport in pretty much the rest of the world.
Oh, the world. Yeah. literally.
It's a poor man's sport, and why is there so much passion? Is because they want to get out of the situation
Yeah,
they're in.
that they're in. Totally.
And also, I feel that, especially in Brazil, it's like a religion. You know, people tell you what their team is before they tell you anything else.
Their
you know?
name.
Yeah.
No, and that
Yeah.
and that judges how what's your first impression of that person.
Yeah.
That's already gonna change depending on their answer of which team they support. Cause especially like I feel also when that identity is built um through a team that you support, it's also the you carry the values of those teams and I always say that because you were saying like if we actually build a fan base over time, these guys are not gonna care if we're playing basketball, futsal,
They're
soccer.
just fans.
It's just fans. They're gonna want to show up and see the jersey and the badge on the field, trying to
Exactly.
win at
Exactly.
something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I definitely, I identify with that. So
I see Fresno as like this for beyond soccer. There's so much opportunity. You just gotta just do it.
and
just
look for it.
like if
bring it
you
out.
you want to be a chef in Fresno, go be a chef. You want to be a high level soccer coach in Fresno, do it. But don't sit on it. Like be willing to build things here because there's a lot of opportunity to do stuff. You just gotta have a big mind, think big. Don't think, oh, it's always been like this. That's the reason why you shouldn't do it because it's always been like that. And that's how I've lived since I was a kid. It's like I'm never gonna be like how everyone else is. I'm gonna do it my way, but I'll do it with good intentions, right? But let's think big. Don't think so small.
Sure,
And
yeah.
that's why these major cities are major cities because everyone thinks big.
Mhm.
So we need to start thinking big. How can we contribute for the game here? But let's think big. Don't think, I just gonna have a Sunday league team and that's it. That's not big. Like let's do something more. Build a brand, market it, sell it. Find your community, find your people, your type of people that want to be a part of that and support that. Because not everyone's gonna support the same thing. That's life. So go find those people. They're here. It's a big enough city for it. So we all have the opportunities. Now let's just go and just do it.
And do it.
And that you said that about Sunday League. Just wanted to say that I see that a lot. What you're saying, like people are there, they make their Sunday League teams, but they don't want to go past that. They're happy with that. There's opportunities to go play tournaments in LA and other big cities, and they don't want it.
But,
Just wanna
but
stay
why
here.
do you think that is?
I don't know.
It's
They're
easy.
scared.
It's easy. They're comfortable.
Yep.
Nobody wants to be successful at this. They just want to be good in that small area that they're at. And cool, but you got to think big if you want things to go somewhere. We all like these cool things, this cool that, this cool this cool that, but how do you get all these cool things is by thinking big. Thinking small, you're not going to get all this cool stuff around you. So you just you have to look beyond that, and that's what you guys are doing. You're doing it. You could easily go do this in Chicago if you wanted to, but you chose to do this here and talk about the local soccer community here. So you're thinking big. You see the opportunity for yourselves as well. So it's good that you're doing that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, we appreciate it, and we appreciate you being here. I think I'm getting into this podcast thing because it was such a nice talk,
Nice, right?
and it was quite like a bit of information and quite educational as well. I think to hear and pay attention to such a journey and to see the point where you're at now and to see that it's far from over. You know what I mean? There's so much big stuff to come, not only in this project for Fuego, but for the soccer community in general, and just having you here and listening to you have those ideas and I know the club is in good hands and we wish you all the best and we're super thankful for this.
Yeah, I'm very excited with everything that you're bringing, especially beach soccer. I hope we start something with foot table and foot volley.
We can play right now, man.
Yeah. Oh, this table is great.
Man, I know you guys are about to give me that double yellow, man. I'm trying to not hit anybody, man. I'm trying to stay away. I don't want the ball. I don't want to give up that penalty right now.
This is the only place where yellow means something good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good to hear then.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Right. We really appreciate that you accepted to come and talk to the community. We know you want to change things here, and we hope this podcast is going to help you in this journey. And I also want to say to everyone that is watching, if you want to come here, you're part of the soccer community, and you want to come here and say what you want to say, come here.
Reach
Let
out.
us know. Yeah.
Yes,
Let
absolutely.
us know there's space for that, and we can't wait to have you here.
Share your story, like you shared yours, and
Yep.
I'm sure people in the community would love to hear some of the stuff you said. You were talking, and I'm already thinking this is gonna be a good clip. Some good stuff you said. So
Next thing you know, it's a series.
yeah. So love it, love it. Appreciate it a lot. Appreciate everyone watching, and yeah, this will be the second episode. We'll be back next week with some more
Yep.
some more stuff. So
And
yeah.
like we said in the first episode, we have great opportunity here for everyone. And if you want to help us to keep growing and sponsor us, we have a lot of opportunities here. We have table, we have all the background, we have social media, everything. So help us grow and support us.
Hey, if you have a team and want to send a jersey to put
Oh,
there in
yeah.
the back, also
Yep. Put
welcome
your
to
brand,
do that.
Hang
so.
your brand in the background.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
like that.
guys. We appreciate all the love. Thanks for watching once again. This is Double Yellow Podcast. Enzo Duffy, Gabby. We'll see you
Thank
guys next time.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Let's go.
This is where I get the